My name's Connor, and my story starts out in Oklahoma, actually. That's where I was born. It's where I lived for 10 years of my life. While I lived there, my mom worked for a church, and I was just very familiar with the church atmosphere. I was there probably like 6 out of the 7 days of the week for stuff during the week, and then also for Sunday morning stuff, obviously. But I just became very familiar with the church, and it was kind of like a second home, honestly. So while I lived in Oklahoma, while I spent all that time at the church, that is when I dedicated my life to Christ. That's when I got baptized, and really where my journey with Christ starts. In 2009, when I was 10 years old, my family moved to Indiana, north side of Indianapolis, and that really rocked my world. Everything I knew was in Oklahoma. All my family was in Oklahoma. All my friends were in Oklahoma. So moving 12 hours away was a little rough, to say the least. For the first 2 years we lived here, didn't really have many friends. I really had to lean on God, and my faith grew a lot in that time. But after 2 years of having very little to no friends, I kind of decided, you know what, God, like, this isn't working. You're not really providing for me right now. I wasn't patient, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna take things into my own hands. I've been playing hockey, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna give my all to hockey. I'm gonna put everything I have in hockey, and hopefully that will get me some friends. And it did. The first year playing travel hockey, I made a lot of friends, not only at the rink, but at school. I became like an athlete, which I had never been familiar with. You can ask anybody that knows me. Not very coordinated, unless it is like on ice or snow or something. Can't catch a ball to save my life. But so that was like a new experience for me, being considered an athlete. And I gained a lot of friends from that. And my identity slowly faded from a Christ follower and became a hockey player. And by the end of middle school, beginning of high school, I was a hockey player, and I was no longer like this Christ following young man. And my sophomore year of high school, I decided I wasn't gonna play hockey anymore. It wasn't very fun for me. At this point, I was kind of just burnt out on it. So I quit, and I really had an identity crisis. Like I said, my identity was in hockey, and I no longer had hockey. So now it was just kind of this question of, who am I? And I searched a lot of different places for that. I had been to Haiti that summer and thought I was reconnecting with God, but in actuality, I don't think I was. I loved Haiti, and I loved seeing the faith of the people in Haiti, but I don't think it impacted me in the way it really should have, or maybe I didn't act on the way it impacted me. And so I came back to school and had a couple months of just searching, and eventually was just searching for love from people. So that led to me getting into, partying, drinking, eventually like having sex, and just doing all this stuff I never imagined I would be doing, but yet here I am doing it. And the best way to describe that lifestyle was like drinking salt water. Like, I was thirsty for something more, and in the moment, the partying, the drinking, like, it saved me from that. It kind of quenched my thirst, but in the long run just left me feeling more and more empty, left me feeling thirstier, wanting even more than I had before. And it was draining. And I got to a point in the winter of my sophomore year where I was just miserable, not happy with anything that was happening in my life. And I just wanted a way out, but I didn't know how to get out. I had abandoned God. I had really not been having a good relationship with anybody in my family, and I was just struggling. Fast forward to the beginning of the summer between my sophomore and junior year, and God kind of grabbed me in the middle of my mess and goes, all right, let's go, and yanked me out of it because there's no way I was coming out of it on my own. I went to a conference in Michigan with CIY, which is Christ in Youth. The conference was called Move, and God moved in me. While I was there, I reconnected with God, rededicated my life to Him, and at the end of the week even decided I was going to go into full-time ministry because this love I had been looking for before, I had now experienced with Christ, and I wanted everybody to experience it. So I made the decision to go into full-time ministry, to dedicate my life to telling others about this love I had experienced and hopefully helping them experience it for themselves. And ever since then, I've been growing and growing in my relationship with Christ, sometimes in little steps and it seems like I'm not growing at all, sometimes in massive leaps, but it has been awesome. And there's this spiritual high you experience at these conferences or camps. And honestly, once you just give your all to God, you don't come off of that spiritual high. You are just on fire for Him. And you experience this new life, which I know I just say in every video, but it's so true. You are able to do so much more and just be you and fully step into this identity that you have with Christ and who He has made you to be. And I mean, I've never been more full of joy, and I want everybody to experience this. I want to end with, there's a quote from my pastor back in Oklahoma. He would always say this, and I just think it's so true, so I want to end with this, that whoever finds God finds life.